back for my episode 16 of my Knit and Crochet podcast. I am filming this on a Friday evening because I know Sunday I'm going to be busy, so I have to leave for my art program early to do something. So I wasn't going to try to squeeze in filming my podcast, and that's just coming Sunday the 4th. So I am just filming my podcast early, plus I feel like I finished enough whips between when I filmed my last podcast to now that I could make this worth filming. And like every podcast, I will link the patterns and yarns mentioned down below in the notes. So I am just going to get into it. So I finished 4 more granny squares. I finished 2 in the bottoms up colorway from the Little Wolf Knits, which is Pennsylvania. And then I finished 2 in granny squares in the colorway Barbie Girl by Emma's Yarn, which is a Florida dyer. And this one, so I finished, so I have 6 total granny squares now. For my granny square 50 States blanket that I'm working on, that's a current whip that I am working on. And then I finished a hat, which is probably going to be a donation hat. Or I might, I don't know. I haven't decided yet what I'm going to do with it, but I'm definitely not going to be keeping it for myself. And then on Tuesday, I finished Mom's seed stitch cowl by Knit Picks. I'll link that pattern down below like I have been. I just need to get a button for it for the closure, and there's going to be a button vendor at the Fire Festival that I'm going to at the end of this month with Mom, the end of May. And I'm going to have her pick out a button while we're there, and then I'm going to crochet a loop for the button to go in. And the name of the shop is Button Barrel. And they have a shop on Etsy, so I'll link them down below. Maybe I'll make a shop section. Possibly. Yeah, I'll probably make a shop section for my podcasts. And so all I need to do on that is just sew on the button, and then actually I'll get the cowl so you can see what it looks like. So I just have it in this little project bag. So this is Mom's cowl. So literally all I need is a button, and then I was gonna crochet, once I get the button, I'm gonna crochet a loop for the closure. So I'm gonna bring this with me to the a fiber festival, so Mom and I can pick out a button that will go with this really well, and then when it's done I can give it to Mom as an early birthday gift, so that hopefully that way when they go to Scotland in September she can use it. And then this is just the leftover yarn that I had from the cowl that I'm gonna use for the loop. But that is my mom's cowl. And then I also finished a bigger size hair scrunchie for a I finished this on Wednesday for somebody's daughter who asked for, so I made a jumbo hair scrunchie for them. And then I also finished the crocheted, kind of a lot of back and forth over here, but that's okay. I finished the crocheted pot for Becky in the cream colored yarn that she asked for. So I'm going to give this to her on Monday, but you get to see it now because I just grabbed it off the table. But the obviously when I upload this podcast on Wednesday the 7th, I would have already given this to her, so you guys get to see it because I'm actually, like I said, pre-filming this video. And the same with the scrunchie. I'm giving that to the person's mom on Sunday when I see them at Double House. So by the time this podcast uploads, I would have given those away. So those are the current whips, or the finished projects that I finished for this past week. And projects that I'm still working on, I did finish the insert and the cup for the one skein flow tote. So I'm redoing my one skein flow tote, and I just need to make the tote now, but between yesterday and today I finished the cup and the little insert. And this is what it looks like. So there's that. So that's that current project that I'm working on, and I have it in my 3 skein flow tote that I made for the cowl. That just ended on Wednesday. But yeah. So I'm making the 1 skein now, just for the heck of it. And like I said, because you saw the granny squares before, I'm working on the granny squares for the 50 States Granny Stir blanket project that I'm working on. So that's a current whip right now. Right now I'm just working on the squares, so I have not assembled anything yet on that. I'm just making the squares. And then I'm going to figure out what order I want everything to be in. Then I'm still working on the Easter Bunny and my uncle's scarf, which are probably going to be my next, after the 1 skein float tote, going to be the next 2 projects that I would try to get off this list of current whips. And then I have 2 blankets going on. I have the 50 States Granny Square blanket, and then I have the scrap acrylic leftover scrap yarn blanket that I'm working on. I know a lot of people say they don't really call that a whip, but it is for me. Because I just work on that when I can. And then I'm still working on my Advent scarf, which uses the Fangirl Fibers minis that I have. So those are current whips. And I'm thinking of, after I get the 3 top whips done that I mentioned earlier, like the 1 skein float tote and my uncle's scarf and the Easter Bunny, and then hopefully maybe my Advent scarf I want to redo, or even maybe before I finish my Fangirl Fibers Advent scarf, I want to redo. I want to start over on my cowl that I'm working on. I want to do a different pattern for it. I'm just not feeling it, so I want to bring some patterns into my therapist and see what she says. I think I found 1 or 2 that I like. See what she says about that. But besides like the needlepoint projects that I mentioned, like the cat needlepoint wallet and kit, those are like still ongoing as well. The only only other thing I have to mention is I have a little quick yarn haul for you. So I'm just gonna grab that. This is mostly yarn, and most of it I got because I'm going to be using it for my current project that I'm working on, which is the 50 States Granny Square blanket that I mentioned before. So when Mom and Becky were in Rhode Island this last weekend, a couple weeks ago, Mom got me 3 skeins of yarn. She got me Wonderland yarns in a fingering weight, and this dyer is out of Vermont, and it's like a goldeny yellow, so super pretty. And then that kind of looks pretty next to those pinks. Then Mom also got me Dirty Water Dye Works, and this dyer is out of Boston, Massachusetts area. So I'm trying to incorporate hand-dyed yarn from all 50 states for this project. So the like I said, the Emma's yarn that I used is Florida, and then I have the Little Wolf's Knit, and I'm just kind of collecting yarns as I go. Then Mom got me a Elemental Effects hand-dyed yarn, and this one is from our lovely state of Maine, and these are all a fingering weight, because that's kind of what I'm trying to use for the blanket. And then I had ordered this, I believe, on my birthday. Yeah, I had ordered this on my birthday, and this was the Casey Knits hand-dyed yarn, and she is also out of Florida, and this colorway is Overgrown, so it's like a dark sagey, I don't want to say sage, olivey green, I want to say, I guess would be a closer. So for my other Florida yarn, I'm probably gonna use that. And then I do have a full skein of the Emma's yarn in the fingering weight that accompany these little mini skeins that I used up. So I might use that as well if I need a fill in for the blanket. I'm just gonna see how far everything gets me. For right now, I'm just doing 2 squares each from each of the states, and then I will fill in once I get all 50 states for the yarn. So yeah, that is just a quick haul for you, and I don't really have much of an update this time around, so I apologize for that, except for that going to that button barrel at the Fiber Festival for a button for Mom's cowl, and I might pick up a couple other buttons just to have on hand, who knows. But that is it for this video. If you guys have any comments or videos I should do, please do comment down below or on my Facebook page, or please comment down below, excuse me. And I hope everybody has a great day. Bye.